Hey, I'm Katie with Caked by Katie, and I'm hanging out with Roger's Flour today, and we are going to bake a chocolate cake. Now, with a show of hands, who loves chocolate? I do. Chocolate is decadent, and it's rich, and it's delicious, and it's one of those flavors that pleases a crowd. So it's super important to have a chocolate cake recipe that's easy, that's quick, that's accessible, and amazing. And I think I have that for you today. So let's get started on making this super easy, super delicious chocolate cake. This recipe is so easy. In fact, you don't even need a mixer. All you need is a big mixing bowl, wire whisk, spatula, measuring cups, you're good to go. So what we're starting off with is 2 cups of all-purpose flour. So I measured out the 2 cups and I put it in my big bowl. Choose the biggest bowl you have. This is what everything's gonna get mixed up in. So 2 cups of all-purpose flour into the bowl. What we're gonna add next to that is our cocoa powder. Right here, we have 1 cup of cocoa powder. It's gonna go right into that flour. Okay, make sure I get, all of it, because we want it to be super chocolatey, right? There we are. Next up for our dry ingredients, we have 1 cup. Oh no, it's not 1 cup. It's 1.5 cups. 1.5 cups of granulated sugar. Again, right into the bowl. There we go. I can already smell the cocoa powder. This is gonna be good, you guys. I'm gonna give this a quick little mix with my wire whisk. Get everything kind of stirred up, looking mostly incorporated. There we are. Next up comes the last few of our dry ingredients. Okay, what do we have here? We have 2 teaspoons of our baking powder. So that goes right in there. And then next, we have 1.5 teaspoons of baking soda. You want to make sure that your baking powder and your baking soda are relatively fresh. These are our rising agents. And when they're not fresh, you're not going to get the rise, the lift in your cake. What ends up happening is it's a little bit denser, a little bit thicker. Now that's okay for a chocolate cake. But if you can get a chocolate cake that's fluffy and moist, it's like chef's kiss, right? So make sure that your baking powder and your baking soda are fresh. And now we have our salt. So this is 1.5 tablespoons of fine sea salt. I personally love using sea salt. I just love the taste of it. If you don't have sea salt, you could also use kosher salt as well. So there we go. Into the bowl, that is all of our dry ingredients. This is really easy, right? I told you guys this is gonna be easy. So let's mix this up. All right. Here are all of our dry ingredients into the bowl. And now we're just going to mix, getting them all incorporated so that we don't have any little hunks, chunks, bumps of flour. We want it to look smooth, and all of it is gonna have this beautiful brown cocoa color. That is starting to look pretty darn good. There we go. You can see when I pull it up from the bottom, Getting that last little bit of flour incorporated. There we go. All right, let's call this good. We're ready for our wet ingredients. So for our wet ingredients, what you want is 2 cups of buttermilk. Now this is what I have here for buttermilk. This is the most important part of the recipe. You don't just want to add in the buttermilk. You want to make sure that this buttermilk is hot. You can either warm it up in the microwave, you can do it stovetop in a pot. However you want to do it, make sure that your buttermilk is hot. Now another note, for when you heat up buttermilk, sometimes it separates. I don't know if you can see here right now. Yeah, you can see a little bit there on the edge there. What that is just that fat from the buttermilk, that fat creamy top portion. The delicious part. So if when you heat up your buttermilk, it looks like it's separated, don't worry. Don't think it's gone bad. It's just the nature of buttermilk. So what you can do, just stir it back together, okay? Don't throw it out. Give it a little mix together. And you're good to go. Okay, so we have, again, 2 cups of hot buttermilk. Now the reason I say it needs to be hot is that when you have the heat from the buttermilk and it mixes in with the cocoa powder, it actually has a reaction to the cocoa powder. It's what called is blooming, and it deepens that cocoa, the chocolate flavor, and it makes it super rich, and it lets that flavor develop and deepen and gives it that oh so heavenly chocolate flavor that we all love in a chocolate cake. So let's add this buttermilk, hot buttermilk, into the cake batter. There we go. And you know what I'm going to do? I am going to give this bowl, see all those like delicious fat solids there? I'm gonna scrape those in, add that in because yum. Okay, so that was our 2 cups of hot buttermilk. And now we have 1 cup of vegetable oil. So I've used 100% vegetable oil. Feel free to swap this out with 100% canola oil, sunflower seed oil. Any oil is going to do the job. You just want to ensure that it's a neutral tasting oil. So 1 cup, in she goes. Okay, there we go. And last but definitely not least, in any of the baking worlds, vanilla extract. This is 1 teaspoon of pure vanilla extract in with the liquids. Okay, there we are. So we have all of our liquids now mixed with our dry ingredients. Well, they're not mixed yet. We still need to mix, so let's do that. Let's mix these together. Right here, we have our 2 cups of hot buttermilk, 1 cup of all vegetable oil, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Now what we're gonna do is take our whisk again and mix, mix, mix. This is the great part of this chocolate cake recipe, is that you can do it all by hand. No need for a mixer or extra pieces of equipment, and it comes together super fast. You should start to smell the delicious chocolate, and it's going to start looking like a fudgy, delicious cake batter. We are mixing in those wet ingredients into our dry ingredients. and creating a super chocolatey, fudgy, rich cake batter that honestly, you're gonna be tempted to just like take a little snitch right from the edge of the bowl right there. I know I certainly am when I'm baking a chocolate cake. Chocolate anything for that matter. I am 100% in, right? I feel like it's one of those cake flavors that will please just about anybody. And it also serves as a great base for any other flavors that you want to pair with it or add in. It's a great starting point. Okay. Making sure that as you mix this up, you're scooping in from the bottom so there's no little bits of dry batter left. Oh, there's just a little pocket that I got there that I want to get in mixed really well. This also is going to count as my workout for the day. Keep mixing, stirring in. Once you think you've got most of it incorporated, you can see, oh, and there's another bit of pocket of flour. Can you see how fudgy that is? That is going to be tasty. So, I am cleaning off my my whisk right now. And I'm going to take back my spatula and make sure all the edges here are clean and incorporated. Okay, I wish you guys could smell this right now. It smells like chocolate heaven, which is my kind of heaven. All right, this chocolate cake batter looks ready to go. It is thick and fudgy. It smells like chocolate heaven. And we are ready to put it into the cake pans. So what I have is my oven preheating. It's at 350 degrees. It's ready to go. And I'll show you the pans we're gonna bake this cake up in. I have three. These are 6-inch round cake pans. Now I've already pre-greased them. I used my regular go-to kitchen spray. Be liberal with it. Spray each of the inside of the pans, and you are ready to divide your batter. Now the great thing about this cake batter is you can bake it in a couple different ways. So you can bake it in 3 6-inch round cake pans. You could also bake it in 2 8-inch round cake pans. You could bake it in 2 9-inch round cake pans. And you can also make cupcakes. So if you're looking to make chocolate cupcakes, use this recipe. This recipe is going to bake 2 dozen cupcakes. You're good to go. So let's fill up these pans and get it into the oven. I'm the kind of baker that eyeballs things. There are some super precise bakers that will weigh out their pans and make sure there's like precisely the same amount of batter in each pan. That's not me. So let's just eyeball the right amount so it's mostly even. Okay, in she goes. Okay, this one needs a little bit more. Here we are. Get every single last drop out, right? And I got it all over my thumb, and honestly, I just want to lick it. Okay, so we have chocolate cake batter in the cake pans, ready to go in the oven. I am gonna lick this because it's delicious. So, I had to, I'm sorry. Let's put these in the oven. When you bake them in 3 6-inch round cake pans like this, it's going to take approximately 25 minutes. So set your timer for 25 minutes. At the 25-minute mark, open the oven, take a peek. What you're looking for is the cakes to have risen. When you just like gently tap on the middle top part of the cake, it'll have a little bit of like a bounce, a spring back to you. And then the edges of the cake just around the pan, we're gonna slightly pull away from the pan. That are 2 surefire indicators to know your cake is done. And then you can also grab a toothpick and gently put it into the middle of the cake. When it comes out with some few moist crumbs, you are good to go. So let's put these into the oven, shall we? Our timer just went off for 25 minutes, so let's take a peek at these cakes. Right. You can see the edges there, just slowly starting to pull away from the pan. We're going to take our toothpick, insert it into the center. And there we go. We have a few moist crumbs. And we have a springy top. These cakes are ready to come out. Okay, these are baked. Now what we're gonna do is let them cool just here in their pans on this cooling rack for 10 minutes. And after 10 minutes, we are going to invert them and let them fully cool. So 10 minutes. So give them a quick little flip. All right. Last one. And they should just wiggle right out of the pan, clean like that. Okay, there is 2. Ta-da! Our chocolate cakes. Okay, again, I wish you guys could smell this. They smell amazing. So now what we're going to do is for these chocolate cakes, we want to let them fully cool. You want them to be completely cool before you start frosting them and stacking them. That way you're not going to melt your frosting as you're stacking and end up with a complete cake disaster. So let them fully cool. If you're making your cake today, when you bake them, great. If you plan on making your cake later, what you can do with these cake laters is grab some plastic wrap, double wrap them, either pop them in the fridge for tomorrow. You can also put them in the freezer if you're gonna decorate like a week from now. These cake layers are gonna hold up perfectly moist. So double wrap them. If you freeze them, the day before you plan on decorating your cake, take them out of the freezer and let them thaw overnight in the fridge. That way they're not going to change temperature too much and possibly sweat. And you'll be ready to go for that next morning to decorate your cake. What I love doing with these chocolate cake layers, also what is super easy, is doing up a batch of just plain whipped cream and then pairing it with like fresh cherries for a black forest cake, or you could get some strawberries or raspberries, and then you're just going to dollop some whipped cream, stack another, or put some berries on it, stack another layer of cake, some whipped cream, some berries, and then you end up with this incredibly decadent, amazing chocolate cake that looks fabulous, but is so totally easy. So there you guys have it. This here is my absolute favorite, my go-to, the easiest, most delicious, rich, decadent chocolate cake recipe ever. I hope you give it a shot. If you do, make sure you let me and Rogers Flour know that you baked up this chocolate recipe. I can't wait for you to try it.